Hey y'all, Sam the Midwest Handyman. Well, we're going to play with some houseplants today. So where I live, we actually have a really awesome page, a free plant page where people will put out pieces of their plants, plants they just don't want anymore, stuff they've dug up. I digress. I scored some free plants this week. This little chunk, I just went ahead and buried already. It wasn't anything too complicated. It goes about that deep in the pot. I can't film my entire life for you guys, okay? Anyways, very exciting. Some more pieces here. I got this nice big chunk of jade. I'm just going to leave it. She's already got it potted up in this for a while. The soil's a little moist, so I'm hoping not too moist. I have a fan going in the other room as well, so I'm going to put that right back in the sunny window. Not too sunny, but sunny window. But anyways, let's just look at it again. Free plant. Free plant. I did leave her a bag of apples, actually, for my tree. So, let's get into the big boy here. I have my fresh terracotta pot. I do think you're supposed to soak those down first, guys, when you first get them. I'm not going to. I don't know much about this plant I'm bringing in, so I'm assuming it's tropical, so it doesn't like, I hope they don't ping me on that pack there. It doesn't like too much water, I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm going to have to Google it, but I can always soak it down. Free. I got lucky. I must have been, I think this is an agave, right? I must have been the first person to comment because she had them all labeled for us and split up in bags left by her garage. And I had the biggest one. So I'm beyond excited. Anyways, let's get into this. So I got my terracotta. I am going to place a void pot in the bottom of this one because it has such a giant hole. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and hope that that works to not dump the dirt out the bottom. I've got some trays somewhere. Actually, before I put a plant in it, let's see if this will fit. I don't think it will. If you're following along, I buy absolutely everything on clearance. So I scored a bunch of these for like $2. That'll do, pig. All right, that'll do. Okay. I got some white ones too. They had orange. But I don't let you guys see in my bedroom, but all the pots in my bedroom are white. And then in my living room, dining room, all my pots are terracotta. So, excuse me. No, let's not use that. I just washed it. Let's use red solo cup. I keep forgetting to check on the school's garden after we donated all those tomato plants. So I should pop up there and go in and check them out and see if they need any TLC. Okay. I'm going to cover that pot. So I want just a little bit. I want to leave room for these roots. This actually has a great, what you can't see outside of camera, which you might see in the next video. I've been seed harvesting for days. So I have fruit and bowls, vegetables, I call them all fruit, all over the table. So this has great roots on it. I do have some pieces up here that are cracked. I don't know if it's for me setting it down. I've tried to set it up. I don't know if it's very thirsty now at this point because it's been wrapped in this newspaper for a couple days. But let's see. I think that looks like a good depth. I'm going to go ahead and get all these tucked in. Boy, Midwest, we are getting all the rain we needed like a month ago, huh? My tomatoes got in the ground late this year. I'm getting more, my plants are happier now than they have been all summer. And actually, I didn't realize, because I Googled it, your tomatoes won't ripen in those extreme heat waves. So I went out the other day, because again, I can't film my entire life for you guys. I went out the other day and started, I don't top prune. I know I said that in another video. I don't top prune my plants like a lot of people top theirs at the end of the year so that they can, the plant will focus all on the fruit that's already there. Because I'm still getting blooms. And we don't know when the first frost is going to hit because we all know the weatherman lies, just like the government. So I like to let mine roll. Last year, I was getting tomatoes and peppers in October, November. So I don't shut my garden down. I reset it in the spring. So we'll see what happens. You know, we could get frost in 3 weeks and then I'll be over here crying, but it is what it is. But anyways, I went out and started pulling off some that had been on the vine too long, on the plant too long. And I bottom prune all my tomato and pepper plants. Mostly the tomatoes because peppers will grow lower on the vine. And now they're all starting to ripen. So I think that combination was probably great. I also think I probably have a calcium deficiency in my plants as well because I don't use any fertilizers. I use rainwater mostly, but I don't really use much fertilizer. Well, I don't use any fertilizer. Let me back that up. But now my chickens are out there with them. But my tomato patch, guys, was grass earlier this year. I literally went out, took a shovel, scooped the grass, scooped holes in the grass, and planted the tomatoes. They're 4 feet tall. So you don't always have to till everything and do a raised garden and do the whole shebang and lay out weed killing mats and cardboard. I literally dug holes in the grass and put tomato plants in. So, of course, you know, they probably would be healthier and more healthy and producing more, you know, had I taken those extra steps. But again, I like to do random stuff like that just to show that you can do more than you think with less work than you think. So, and then I have a sectioned off like tilled garden, and there's one raised bed in there, and then in the front I've got my whole excuse me guys, I've got my whole wine crate garden out front. I've got 5 tomato plants in each one. You know, they're still flowering, they're still producing. They got a little burnt from the last heat wave. I just pluck off the dead stuff. They're still rolling. And then I've got my pot garden on the back deck. And those have 2 in each pot. And they're still going. So it's just a reminder that, you know, I was working 7 days a week when everyone was planting their Mother's Day gardens. So mine didn't get in the ground, but guess who's got fresh tomatoes in the end of September? I do. So my okra was really far behind, also still blooming. Okay. Sorry, I guess I didn't tell you much about houseplants. I just rambled about my garden. But if you're following along, you know talking is what I do. How quick was that? Ta-da! This soil is pretty wet. I'm going to give it a little drink. I'm not going to give it a monster drink. I'm going to give it a little drink. Because I'm going to do my research on this plant. if anyone watching this has any tips for me, please drop them in the comments. I am not a houseplant expert. I learned by trial and error. That is my expertise. Again, I will remind you, every master gardener has a secret plant graveyard in the backyard of our dead plants. You got to kill a lot of plants to become an expert. So don't give up. Again, I know people who the only plant they can keep alive is the aloe vera. And I'm like, is not the one plant I can't keep alive? So we all have our favorites and we all have our arch nemesis. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. We'll do some more. I've got some more plants I need to transfer about. And I do all my propagating in the winter mostly and my plant splitting because what else am I going to do when it snows? I got to keep busy and keep grounded and keep my hands in the dirt. So this one we're probably going to do off camera, but as you can see, this snake plant is not happy. It's got new growth, so it's still alive. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of this oversized pot and put it in something much smaller, and we'll put something else in this one, a little more comparable. So that's it. We will get out. My birthday plants are on the front porch. My mom got me a giant pot to tear apart. I've already pulled a couple out to save them. But I think there's like 3 left in that one we need to dig out and replant. And they're a jade, which I struggle with jades. So if you're a jade expert, please stop back by because I need some tips on that one. The leaves are curling down. The plant was overly wet when I got it. So I haven't watered it, but I did read the leaves would also curl down if it wasn't getting enough sun. So I've got it out on my front porch and it's looking a lot more happy, but it's about time for all the plants to come in. So I'm setting up a plant quarantine in my middle room over here. It's like a breezeway that's well lit because it has windows on both sides. So we get morning and night sun. And I'm going to quarantine off everything in there. I will tell you, I go organic on the outdoor plants. We don't use any chemicals or sprays on anything that we eat or that the bees are interacting with. But when it comes in my house, it is fair game, and I do spray them with bug killer. I've used the rubbing alcohol before, but I've also burnt the crap out of my plants using that. So I had to bite the bullet. I do have some neem oil, but again, that's been hit or miss for me. So I'm not going to play about. Last year, I lost like half of my plants because I brought one sick plant home. So we're going to quarantine those. In the next couple of weeks here, we're just going to start bringing them in because we're going to hit low 50s. And so some of those, they're not going to like that. And I don't want to risk my babies. So, all right, guys, thanks. This was a long one. Sorry. We'll see you in the next one. Appreciate you. We'll be at 350 before we know it. I'm very excited to see us grow. We're still growing as a channel. I just got an awesome new job selling tools. So I know I've been talking about doing the damn tool video for like months now. But when it's garden season, for me, it's garden season. So fall, winter, that's when we get the tools out and we'll really get back into the crafting. I have been chomping at the bit to get back into crafting. I've been eyeballing a bunch of crochet stuff, crochet tutorials. Again, if you are an expert on this plant or jades or, I'm not too worried about this guy. I've only actually had these outside, so I don't know how he's going to do inside for me. I'm going to put him in a sunny spot, not overly sunny. Reminder, cactuses don't want to be in the sun all day because the desert is hazy. This looked like a prickly pear. So, I don't know. Is this a prickly pear or another variant, guys? We're not prickly yet, but... Okay. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one.